Jamaicans are being invited to submit written comments about the National Identification and Registration Act 2020, more popularly known as NIDS, to the Joint Select Committee of Parliament. Officials say the new ID system will provide easier access to private and public sector service while deterring identification fraud. Speaking at the first of 6 planned town hall meetings this week to educate Jamaicans on the NIDS, Justice Minister Delroy Chuck described it as a game changer and urged the public to read the NIDS bill and send feedback. Jamaicans have until Friday, January 29 to submit written comments about the National Identification and Registration Act 2020 NIDS. Comments may be submitted to Clerk to the Houses at Gordon House in Kingston or via electronic mail to clerk@japarliament.gov.jm. Minister of Justice Delroy Chuck says all public assessments are welcome.
The skepticism, the issues, the concerns, everything can be brought in, and not only your questions are being recorded, but eventually we will have a matrix to examine all the suggestions that have been made. As we plan, this Joint Select Committee is to ensure that members of the public engage with the Joint Select Committee as much as possible.
One objective of the bill is to establish a National Identification Registration Authority.
The bill proposes to establish a national identification database in which all identity information will be stored. Additionally, the bill proposes to provide for the enrollment of eligible persons, meaning Jamaican citizens and persons ordinarily resident in Jamaica, as well as to provide for the issuance of a national identification card and the assignment of a national identification number.
Technocrats were also asked to explain the proposed avenues for recourse for persons whose information have been compromised or otherwise misused. Minister Chuck explained that the matter is addressed in Section 30 of the NIDS bill.
Any official of the NERA who misuse or provide information unlawfully, or anyone who provides information communicated to anyone which is not provided for in the Act, commits an offense, and a person having committed the offense breaches the duty of secrecy or confidentiality imposed by this Act, shall be liable on conviction before a parish court to a fine not exceeding $3 million.
Information Minister Favour Williams explained that offences can be punished through the Data Protection Act.
The Data Protection Act calls for an information commissioner that would ensure that companies and government entities that handle personal data, that they abide by all the standards that are laid out in that act. The government and companies will have obligations to ensure that there is no unauthorized access to the data. The government and companies that collect data must register and say why is it they're collecting the data, what are they going to use it for, how long they're going to have the data, and so on. So there is quite a lot of protection. And if there's unauthorized access to the data, there are penalties under the Data Protection Act.
Right. NIDS Technical Team Representative Nadine Wilkins further explained the link between offences of the NIDS bill and other legislations already in law.
Existing legislation, such as the Cybercrimes Act, the Forgery Act, the Proceeds of Crime Act, we have, in the consequential amendments to this bill, included the NIDS, so that an offense that is committed, even if the NIDS does not stipulate it, if a card, for example, is falsified, is forged, the offenses under the Forgery Act will apply. So we've amended the Forgery Act to ensure that the NIDS card is included. The Lotta scam the provision in the Lotto scam for identity theft.
Yes.
We've included the national identification number and the national identification card. If anyone seeks to falsify them for that purpose, those offenses will also apply. So we have an extensive arrangement for prosecuting offenses in every aspect of this program.
The 71-page document can be downloaded from the Houses of Parliament website at www.japarliament.gov.jm. People making written submissions may be required to appear before the committee at short notice to explain their submissions.